In a world that's just pulling our attention in a million different directions, being truly present, it's kind of like a superpower. So today, we're going to demystify mindfulness. We're going to show you how it's a super practical tool that really anyone can use. Let's dive in.
So, when you hear the word mindfulness, what pops into your head? For most of us, it's probably the same image, right? You're sitting, legs crossed, in a totally silent room, trying with all your might to just empty your mind, to make it go blank. And let's be real, that sounds exhausting, and maybe even a little bit impossible.
Well, if that's what you've been thinking, I've got some really good news. That's not what this is about. Not at all. It's time to think again. Okay, so let's just get right to it and clear up what mindfulness really is. Because I promise you, it is so much simpler and more accessible than you probably think. So, what are we talking about here? At its core, mindfulness is simply about paying attention to whatever is happening right now. That's it. It's noticing your thoughts as they come and go, feeling your body, maybe the way your feet feel on the floor, or the rhythm of your own breath. And here's the part that changes everything. You do it without judging it. There's no good thought or bad feeling. You're just noticing.
And this is the big one, okay? This is not about emptying your mind. It's not a fight to get to some perfectly blank state. Your brain is gonna think. I mean, that's its job, right? Mindfulness is about learning to take a step back and just observe the thoughts instead of getting tangled up in a fight with them. You just let them be.
Now, here's where this gets really, really powerful in everyday life. Think about it. Something happens, you get a stressful email, someone cuts you off in traffic, and boom, we have this instant knee-jerk reaction, right? It's automatic. What mindfulness does is it creates this tiny little space, this pause between the trigger and your action. And in that pause, we shift from just reacting on autopilot to consciously responding. And that right there is where all your power is. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do it? You're probably thinking, I don't have an hour a day to meditate. And you know what? You don't need it. The best part about this is that small moments make a huge difference. All right, let's just bust some myths right now about what you don't need. You don't need hours of meditation, you don't need any special cushions or apps, and you definitely don't have to be calm or good at it when you start. So what do you need? Really, just a few minutes here and there. A little willingness to just slow down for a second. And remembering that this is a skill. You get better with practice, just like anything else. That's literally it. And when I say a few minutes, I mean it. Even just 30 to 60 seconds of practice totally counts. Seriously, we can all find 30 seconds, can't we? So here are 5 incredibly simple ways you can practice, like today. Feeling overwhelmed at your desk? Just take 3 slow breaths. In and out. Waiting for your coffee to brew? Notice the feeling of your feet on the floor. Pay attention to just one sound you can hear. These aren't complicated. They're just tiny little anchors you can use anytime to pull yourself back to the present moment. Okay, so we know what mindfulness is and we know how to do it in these tiny little moments. But why bother? What's the actual payoff? Let's talk about the powerful why behind the practice. The very real benefits for your mental health. Probably the biggest and most immediate benefit you'll notice is for stress and anxiety. When you focus on your breath or what your body is feeling, you're literally sending a signal to your nervous system that says, hey, you're safe right now. And this isn't just some mind over matter trick. It's a real physiological command. It can actually slow down a racing heart, quiet down those frantic thoughts, and help release that tension you're holding in your shoulders. Think about how we normally talk about our emotions. We get totally wrapped up in them, right? We say something like, I am angry. We become the anger. It's like the emotion completely defines our whole identity in that moment. But with a little practice, something really subtle but profound starts to happen. You learn to observe it instead. You can say, I am noticing the feeling of anger. Can you hear that difference? That one little word creates space. Suddenly, you aren't the anger anymore. You're the person who is aware of the anger. And in that tiny bit of space, that's where you find your freedom to choose what to do next. And the benefits just keep going. When you're anchored in the present, it helps break that frustrating cycle of, ruminating about the past or worrying about the future, which is huge for depression. It's also like a workout for your brain's attention muscle, helping you improve your focus. And maybe one of the most important things, it helps you build real self-compassion because you start to learn that you are not your thoughts and it's okay to be kind to yourself.
Now, this is super important, so let's be really clear about this. Mindfulness is a skill you build. It is not a magic cure.
Life is still going to be life, right? There will still be problems and stressful deadlines. Mindfulness doesn't magically make all of that go away. What it does is it fundamentally changes your ability to meet those challenges. It helps you face whatever comes your way with way more steadiness and clarity. And when you practice consistently, and remember, we're talking about those tiny 60-second moments, the results really start to show up in your life. People often notice really tangible things, like they're sleeping better, their mood is generally more stable, they feel more resilient when things go wrong, and they have a stronger sense of being in the driver's seat. So, when you boil it all down, this whole practice isn't about trying to fix yourself, because you're not broken. It's really just about being present with yourself, with everything that's going on, good and bad, and approaching it all with a little bit of patience, curiosity, and kindness. So I'll just leave you with this one question. It doesn't have to be some big, formal thing. Maybe it's just really tasting that first sip of coffee or taking 3 slow breaths before your next meeting. How will you find a small moment to be present today?